Yes, all right. Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi, and it's a beautiful Sunday, by the way. Very, very beautiful Sunday. It's just 9 a.m. in the morning, and it's shining as if it's already known in my country. How are you guys doing? And tell me where you're watching from. We have a very big game today, Arsenal up against Leicester City. It's one of those games that I really do wait in the season these days because Leicester City really play good football. And Arsenal really played good football as well. At least when we had Arsene Wenger, I could stand by that. Why that we really do play good football. But it's a big game. It's going to be airing at exactly 15:30. I think that is GMT. So be very very wary of that. You'll be actually able to get that. I'm here to talk about some of the transfer updates that Arsenal has been linked with throughout the week, and some new, transfer news that have been actually popping up here and there. Some of the stories we did not tackle in the week. Of course, some of them are very heavy stories. I'll talk about them as independent stories next week, but some of them are just simple stories that just need a simple recap, just to make sure that we do not lag behind. So, first and foremost, let's start with Hector Bellerin. This week, he did decide to leave Arsenal if there is an opportunity, and there's so many clubs interested. Wow, it's hilarious. I thought, Hector Bellerin play football if he leaves Arsenal. But apparently, PSG and Barcelona are interested in the services of Hector Bellerin. And you know what? I'll be very, very, glad if Hector Bellerin leaves. Because for me, I think, yeah, this year he has been a little bit consistent, like Mikel Arteta has said. He's been consistent. He's been doing his things, but he's not that right back. He's not that quality that I need at Arsenal. I think we need a change, or maybe he would have become a backup right back at Arsenal, but still, I don't think he's going to settle for that. I don't think he's going to settle for being a backup right back. So the best thing is sell him, either at PSG or Barcelona. I don't know why Barcelona is interested, but even as you remember, even last summer, Barcelona were interested in Bellerin, and PSG were interested as well. Of course, they wanted a loan deal that Arsenal did reject. They wanted straightforward, cash. So the deal didn't actually go through. But I think Bellerin needs to leave Arsenal. If you're doing a clear route and you're letting players like Sid Kolasinac go, you also need to let players like Hector Bellerin go. You can't have a liability in your defense throughout the whole season. I don't think he is good enough. He is no longer good enough. He is not that player that actually had come up what 5 years ago, 6 years ago under Saint Wenger, and all of us were really really impressed. I don't think he's that kind of player anymore. I don't know whether he invests more time in fashion or other business, but he doesn't really look like a footballer. You don't see anything attractive in his football career. And as an Arsenal fan, the truth is, I would want him to leave, and I pray that someday he could actually leave the Emirates Stadium. So in the summer, that deal has been talked about. That in the summer he could actually leave, and PSG is interested, and Barcelona is interested, and the player is saying that he would also want to leave Arsenal if there is an opportunity. So let us wait and see how that story will actually be evolving. The other story is still about a man who could actually leave Arsenal, and that is Alexander Lacazette, the 29-year-old striker, and he is linked with two big destinations, or should I say big destinations. One is Monaco in France, and the other is Juventus in Italy. Actually, three destinations, because Inter Milan also seem to be interested. Inter Milan were proposing a swap deal, actually, to Arsenal, which I don't think will actually work, because I think the way Mikel Arteta does his things is he wants to get players out and bring in players he trusts, players he thinks fit into his style. So I don't think he will be doing any swap deals and shady business like that. So I think Inter Milan are out of it. So Juventus and Monaco are interested in Alexander Lacazette for the best of his career. The truth is, I don't want Lacazette to go to Monaco. There is no football there. You're just 29 years old. Yes, you have failed at Arsenal, totally and badly failed at Arsenal, but you can go to a club like Juventus. I think he has a future with Juventus, because we've seen players like Mario Mandzukic go there and try to do things. Of course, you can't say he's done so much or he's done so well, but we've seen Alec, we've seen Lukaku go to Inter Milan, from the Premier League. He was really, so poor, and then he goes to the to the Italian league because they are a little bit slower, and he's doing so well. And I look at Alexander Lacazette as someone who could actually fit very well into the Italian Serie A. They're not very fast, and he's not so fast as well. They have that, their football requires that kind of, body and energy, and he has that. He's a very good player when it comes to, holding play as a striker. So I think if he went to Juventus, it would be a good deal for him. I wouldn't want him to go to Monaco, but Monaco and Juventus are interested. Of course, we need to see where those two, where that deal could actually end. But I would want him to go to Juventus. And he's a player. Still, I don't want him to stay at Arsenal. I would want him to go. I would want him to leave, so that we can actually get a better and younger, cheaper striker. Looking at players who could actually come in away from players that are leaving the club, there are three names that we have to talk about actually, because this week they have been a little bit trending. Of course, not so much trending, but of course they've been trending, and we need to talk about them. And the first one is Thiago Thomas. I did talk about Thiago Thomas throughout the week. Of course, I mean, reports have it that Arsenal is close to Thiago Thomas, but there are no details about this story. But he's a young striker at Sporting Lisbon. Oh, guy! Yesterday Sporting was playing FC Porto, and it was boring. That game was so boring. I tried to watch it, but we're linked with Thiago Thomas as one of the players that could actually, join Arsenal in the summer. 18 years, 18 years of age, 20 million pounds. That is where his valuation is at. There is nothing in if you're talking about statistics, then there is nothing he's done for me. But he's not established as a striker. Maybe Mikel Arteta sees a lot of potential in him. So I cannot really, judge about that. But the truth is, there isn't much we know about Thiago Thomas. The other player is Odsonne Edouard. We've been linked with Odsonne Edouard almost forever, and finally, Celtic break the silence and they're saying they are willing to sell. Yeah. They are willing to sell if someone brings in the right money, and that money is going to be 15 million pounds. Of course, the Sun and a couple of other outlets broke this story that actually Arsenal could get Odsonne Edouard at a price as low as 15 million from Celtic. It's a good deal. I mean, it would be a very good deal. You need a striker like Odsonne Edouard. He's clinical. He's very good. And I don't think, like Charles was said, I don't think he's having a nightmare season. He's scored 15 goals so far, although 5 from the penalty spot. But of course, the 10 goals he has scored from open play. And of course, Charles Watts did say that Arsenal, are big admirers of the player. They do love the player. They would want to work with the player. And probably, if the summer comes and we can, get that 15 million, put it on the table of Celtic, yeah, we are gonna do the deal. In the same week, Real Madrid did announce that we are actually going to pay 22 million for the services of Dani Ceballos if we are going to retain him on a permanent deal. Now, that deal is, for me, a deal that doesn't make sense. Yeah, a deal that there's no way you're going to keep Dani Ceballos for the past 2 seasons. There's nothing he's done at Arsenal. Yeah, he won. He won the FA Cup. He was part of the team, but unless if we win the Europa League and someone is gonna feel pitiful, for Ceballos. I was listening to Mikel Arteta last time, trying to defend him as as a player who doesn't have a contract and is still fighting so hard. So literally meaning that if he gets a contract, maybe he would be a better player. I don't think that. I don't think so. I think the 22 million being asked by Real Madrid is too much, and I don't want Arsenal to meet that valuation. It is absolutely crazy. You don't need to meet, you don't need to meet such a price for a player like that. For me, for a player like Dani, he has not yet impressed me. I want to be very clear. I think we need to let him go. We need to let Granit Xhaka go. We need to let Ceballos and Elneny go. We need to change that midfield, completely. And I think Elneny is one of the Ceballos is one of those players that actually need to leave the football club. what haven't I talked about in terms of incomings and outcomings? Oh, we did talk about Lamptey, Tariq Lamptey throughout the week. I'll do a video about him, Tariq Lamptey. Of course, he comes in after Arsenal being linked with a clear route of Victor Bellerin. The possible replacement of Bellerin and Arsenal comes in as Tariq Lamptey. And actually, I did say that Lamptey is a good player. If you consider the options of Max Aarons, who's around 40 million, Ashraf Hakimi would be around 42 or 45 million, and Tariq Lamptey would be around 30 to 32 million, then you would go for Tariq Lamptey. He's doing a very good, a very great job at Brighton, and I think he's one of those players that actually have proven that they can offer much more quality in terms of right back. I think if you're going to mention the best 5 right backs in the league this season, probably you're going to say Matt Cash, Aston Villa. You're going to say, look, I don't know whether Trent Alexander-Arnold is having a stinker of a season, but you've got to put him there. With all due respect, Aaron Van-Bissaka, he's going to be there. Reece James at Chelsea had a very good start to the season, but he's having some problems, rotation and so on with the new manager. But I think you can also talk about him, and you go talk about Tariq Lamptey as well. So I think Arsenal being linked with Tariq Lamptey is a good deal. If we do it, it would be an absolutely interesting deal to see happen in the summer. 30 to 35 million. Of course, many Arsenal fans, would want to have Tariq Lamptey. He is a very good right back. Yeah, so I think that's the wrap up. That's the recap of the transfer week. What did I miss in Arsenal's transfer week? Really, did I miss anything in Arsenal's transfer week? We've been linked with a couple of young players here and there, but I think that is it for now. And my name is Kosi. Smash a like in this video. I'll speak to you in the next one. That will be Arsenal up against Leicester City match reaction.